Gorgeous day. I'm wearing the cutoff tee. Sun's out, guns out. No, I need to lose about 50. But here I am throwing a Cax Z, and it goes pretty far. Gets about pin high, almost. And I'm taking 2 off 1. Didn't really warm any warm-up shots. So here's the Cax K3 early release. So I'm for sure taking the first one. I'm, looks like 45 out. I'm going to toss the birdie marvel at this. Not expecting much other than to keep it close. And stays pretty close with that roll right there. Starting off with par. Hole number 2. It is 376, OB left, OB right. First hole had just OB right, but pretty much every hole has OB left, OB right from there on out. Rocks are OB, pavement is OB, so grass is in. And there's trees in the OB, so if you go swing out too far, most likely you're going to get hit down into OB. So this is a Kastaplast Cax. I think I threw it about 250, 260. Didn't really put that much on it. I'm still kind of warming up. I am in the fairway. Probably got a 120-foot look here. I'm going to throw a Kastaplast K1 Berg X. I don't know what I'm yapping about, and I also don't know what these bugs are, or these flies, or these birds that are incredibly fast in the camera. I think they're bugs, because I don't think any bird could fly that fast. Yep. So I actually throw just a Berg straight at it. Keep it close, keep it slow. Finishing it off with a birdie marvel. Staying even. Next hole, 369, OB left, OB right. There's a little bit of OB in front of the basket, but I'm not going to mark it as that. And there's a tree kind of guarding the basket. I'm going to throw a Kastaplast Gote, and it is just a straight flyer with a lot of glide and stays in bounds. That's the name of the game at this course. This is my home course, by the way. I play this course more than any other course. Get a good way up the fairway. That's all I can ask. Stay in bounds. Get up the fairway. You can see it kind of thins out in front of the basket. So laying up is the obvious choice, unless you really want to test that tree on the right with something to turn over, which it catches everything. It's a freaking catcher's mitt. And then you got this tree on the left, which really makes it tight. So I'm going to toss a pig backhand, because the hill kind of slopes down to the right, towards that tree. So I actually hit the OB and it skips off the rocks. Super lucky, because those normally catch everything. So I'll take that par. That's a tough par. Hole 4, 337, OB in front of the basket, OB behind the basket, OB left, OB right. So you kind of have to throw over OB. That tree out to the right. I'm throwing a K1 soft Cax. And I thought I was going to get it out around it, but it just kind of caught in that tree. So I'm OB. I am going to take a stroke here. I'm going to upshot over this OB, 2 sets of OB with this Berg X. It's a short upshot, but I'm going to trust the fade. And I think the wind kind of catches it, or I kind of snap it out to the left, but I leave myself a little more than I needed to. It's a nice, smooth upshot. I'll take it. A little long. I've got a little bit of tester early on. Had a couple easy putts. This one looks like about 25 feet. So apologize again for my mic. I don't know what the heck was going on, but that putt is in just over the cage. But that's a bogey. So puts me up +1. That was a bogey save, and I'll take that. It's about a 25-footer bogey save. Hole 5, OB left, OB right, shorter hole, 263. I'm throwing a Kastaplast yarn. I took the Ultra up there, 5-speed. Yarn's a 4.5 speed, super random, but a little softer, so I wanted it to bite, and I'm going to throw it on a flex line just over the right OB, and trusting that those flight numbers have just enough overstability to come back, and it's a totally overstable disc, so flex lines with this are pretty nice. That 303, it's a little straighter of a disc than like a super overstable disc, but left me a little short and right. Probably about a 30 footer. I'm talking about the Ultra here. That's a little faster. Maybe I would have made it over, but yeah, I've got about a 35 footer. You know, you can count my steps, or you can just trust me, it's somewhere outside the circle. But there's OB right behind the basket, so I'm not trying to whiff and take a stroke here. So I'm just going to give a nice soft bid, but give it a chance, catch some chains, and then continue on with the par. Hole 6, OB left, OB right, OB short, OB long. Okay, so it's a real tight window to the left of that tall tree and in between that short tree. So I take a spike hyzer approach, and basically this is my most successful approach. I'll throw a driver usually on this one, but I didn't bring any drivers with me, so I throw a spike hyzer around the right side of that tree, over that bush, and usually with enough gas on it I can get it to fade and spike without sliding OB. This one's a little wide, and I do stay safe. Just safe in between the two fairways, which is good because it's grass. So I'm usually in the fairway over to the right, but now I have a look with the fairway over to the left, and I've never played any sort of competitive rounds here, so I don't know what they play, if this is a legal shot or not, but there's OB in front of the basket. I'm throwing the Berg X, and I'm just going to throw a forehand over the OB and try to get it near that basket in front of me. So here's a good shot, and I get a skip. Again, there's a pathway in this OB, and it skips just over the OB. And I must have skipped in that pathway, because that's the pathway to the next hole. I'm going to take my meter, because that is one of the benefits of playing OB rules. I took a stroke earlier, so I'm going to take my meter if I'm anywhere near the OB and I want to take it. You don't have to, but I take it here, and I'm going to grab a birdie there. So that's going to take me back to even, because that's a par 4. This next one is also a par 4, dog leg left. OB left, OB right. This one's a tricky one. Name of the game, stay in the fairway. Don't get caught up in the rocks. Don't take that stroke. Don't get caught up in the trees. I throw a gote, just a nice soft 220 foot backhand. I'm going to take it. If it's inbounds, that's 220 feet earned. The next shot's going to be about 270. I'm going to throw a Cax Z, and I'm going to throw it on a nice hyzer line, flat hyzer line. So not really a flex, but I'm going to just basically throw a nice power stock, just a punch hyzer. So low hyzer, I get it to carry over the right OB and fade at the basket. That Cax Z carried there really made me love that disc during this round. I've got about a 25 footer for birdie. This is a par 4, so 7 or 8 steps, 24 feet, 25 feet. throw the birdie marvel. No wind much. I'm just drying off my hands there. It was a little muggy today. But I got my routine, and there's a birdie that takes me down to -1. Hole 8, dogleg right, really tight fairway. This hole's a super pain in the butt. It says 382. It's a long par 3. I can reach it sometimes with like a turnover Roadrunner, but usually I just pitch up beforehand with something stable, stay in the fairway because it gets super tight, and take my medicine, get my par. Even doing this, you've got a pretty testy upshot, and this green is kind of silly, so it's up there straight. It's up there straight ahead. I'm going to toss the berg. It's right there. There's OB to the left and OB to the right. So there's kind of OB in front of the basket. So I'm going to throw this berg rather hard, just to make sure I get over that OB in front of the basket and get a good piece of it. And I think I'm about 20 feet pin high left, which I'll take. I'm happy to take a par on this hole all day because I see people take 5s on that hole. No joke. So you can see the OB in front of the basket. Here is my putt, and I'm pretty sure it's chains. Get my routine, get my leg, and let's see what I got. Bang. Hole number 9, OB left, OB right, long dog leg left. This one you just want to stay in the fairway. It does pan left, so I'm throwing a mid-range. I believe I'm throwing the Yote. I think I throw the Svea here, yeah, and I kind of worm burn it down the right. Luckily stay in bounds, but that works. It lets you see the basket. The basket is down there by the light pole, to the left of the light pole. And I'm probably still a good 300-foot shot. So I'm throwing a Cax K3. Don't worry, people. I've got some sunscreen on. Got my bucket hat. Got my sunshades on. I'm going to throw this out. Get some good projection. I'm about pin high, but I hang it wide, so it doesn't really pan back in. So I'm looking about 40 feet. Yeah, it's a long walk to the basket, which means gravity will play. And I'm doing all right. I'm 1 down. This is a par 4, so I'm putting for birdie from outside the circle. I think I give it a decent bid here. Let's see what I actually do. I'm going to clean up this par. Leave a little meat on the bone, probably 15 feet. Make me have to take a couple pumps. The wind is crossing, so I'm just going like a kind of a spin putt. Flat as possible. Hole 10 is just hole number 1. So I play this back, roll it back, play 9 back, 9 to 9 back to back. Not proud of my back sweat, but it's there, so I'm going to give the Cax a ride. This is the K3 plastic. I like the stability of this disc, and I get a good piece of this one. I really park this one. I've got about 20 feet to the basket. I'm sitting at -1 now, but the round starts to take a good turn. This really started it off. See if I got the birdie, which I do. Hung up, so that puts me down -2. This is hole number 2. OB left, OB right. Throwing the Cax and the K1 soft. This is the Cax Z, which is a little straighter, less fadier version of the Cax. So this pad is kind of slippery. I have definitely had issues because the grass was a little wet. Maybe they watered. And I definitely want to give this some oomph, which I do. I'm about 30 feet short, so I threw it about 340, maybe 50 feet short, so I threw about 330. And you're going to see the best putt of the day right here. Yep, -3. Guy on the other fairway was walking his dog, and he said, "Great job. That was a great putt." I said, "Wow, thanks." OB left, OB right. Throwing the Gote just straight. Just trying to lay up in front of the OB with like a 250-foot shot, which it did. And here the wind starts to pick up. I thought about going backhand, but that tree on the right in the OB kind of got across it. Wasn't feeling that. So I was going to Berg X forehand at all the space on the left. And the wind just knocks it down. Went nowhere. Left me about 30 feet short. And for this hole, for whatever reason, I really felt the most of the wind. You can see those trees in the background moving, and those are pines. And when pines are moving, it's probably 25. I had to back off and take my time, but the wind just kept going. And then right after this hole, the wind completely stopped. So for whatever reason, it just did not want me to make this par with the upshot. But here I am. I've been taking my time. It's now time to putt. If this was a match, you're going to get a warning or a stroke penalty. So tried to keep it low and hard because it was a little bit of a direct line. So that's a bogey. Takes me back down to -2. This one, I'm throwing the Cax Z again. OB left, OB right, OB short, OB long. And I do actually put a good line on this. Last time I pulled it into the tree and went OB. This time I cross over the OB and leave myself about a 50-footer. Maybe 40. But your guess is as good as mine, because I thought I was going to run this with a little jump putt, and the wind just smacks it down. So it's a tailwind putt, and it's just going to go thwap straight to the ground. Never had a chance. Right there. I didn't even feel the wind, but you saw it just straight to the ground. So take a par there. This one's the one with the OB on the right, OB on the left. I'm going to throw a yarn again. I tried to flex it last time. Came a little short, and then soft bid with the putt. This time I get the juice right. And I have front row parking. This thing flexes over the OB. Puts myself around 10 feet. Can't miss this. There it is. Back down, -3. All right, starting to feel like I've got a round going. OB left, OB right, OB short, OB long. Gonna stick to my game plan. Throw a hyzer out over that bush, past that tree, and try to spike it and not let it. The fairway is so thin here, you kind of have to place it that way, because if you try to throw anything on a flex, it's going to slide left. So you kind of just got to play your spike game, which I do. I yank it pretty far, but that Cax and the K3, the 6403, overstable enough, right in the middle of the fairway. This now gives me an approach. It's past that bush. Last time I was looking at it on the left side of the bush for forehand. This time I've got a window not over OB. I'm going to throw the birdie ultra because the wind is into a headwind. So I'm going to throw it on a hyzer and let it work, which I do. And I give myself what I thought was like a 30, 40 footer because you can't see the basket too much. It's kind of blind. But I'm actually only like 15 feet. So 16 feet. It's a crosswind from right to left. And this is a par 4, so this is for birdie. Dry my hand off, get some air on there. I'm going to get some high chains here. But I got it, so it puts me down 4. Hole 16. Feeling good. Time to get aggressive. Throwing the CAC Z. It's a 6.502. Normally I would throw a gote, but I really wanted to get this birdie. It's a par 4, so I'm throwing something just a little stronger. I'm going to hug the right side, and I hug it just enough because it swings across the fairway, and I almost go OB, but I don't. And you're going to see, I'm about a foot in. I'm going to throw this time. This grass where I land is very short, so anything flexed is normally sliding out, but that cax is kind of a mid-range, and it kind of digs, kind of grabs. I'm going to throw a K1 soft yarn on a spike here. Hyzer out to the right, and it pushes. Great disc. Pushes and doesn't spit out and slide out. So I'm looking for about 20 feet here now. Actually, it was pin high. So it really did push, which was great. That was about a 250 foot shot. I'd say I got at least almost 280 with the drive. So it was about 220. This is a birdie marvel. I've got a little bit of a crosswind, so I think my option is spin. Just like that. Keep it as flat as possible. Real direct. Okay, this is the one with the real tight fairway. Dog right. Just going to take my medicine, throw an overstable mid-range, and try to forehand it in the middle of the fairway and give myself a chance for par, which, throwing the ultra, 5.303, very overstable, cannot turn that over if I tried. It pushes forward though, and it puts me right in the middle of the fair. Oh no, I'm on the left side. So it kind of actually burned, and it skipped, and I thought, wow, walking up, I hope I'm in bounds, and I was. So now I'm considering throwing this pig into this forewind, or this headwind, and I say, nah, this headwind's pretty ripe. I'm going to go ahead and switch this out and throw the disc I just threw, which is a very overstable mid, the ultra. I threw it 2 holes previously, and it got me parked, so let's see what I do here. Throw a nice hyzer, parked again for par here. Less than 10 feet. That's how you have a good round. This hole eats me up sometimes. So 17, sitting -5, feeling good. Why not roll the dice a little bit? I'm going to throw the gyote in a tailwind. And I got to put a good spin on this. The gote is a 4.501, so it's super glidey, not much fade. So I I put a good spin on it, and I think I get about 270 out of it, maybe 280. Stay right in the center of the fairway. And that's the basket, the first point, about left of that baseball light. Throwing the pig. I'm going to try to flex it and let it nose up. I actually kind of turn it too much. This is a Ricky R Pro Glow pig. And I get a good push to it. And I thought I was pinned high, but I actually went deep because it does kind of go downhill a little bit after the basket. So I'm sitting there about 34 deep, 32 deep, so I'm just inside the circle. It's a little bit of a headwind, and this is for birdie. This is a par 4. This is my third shot. And like Jeff Hornacek, I'm in the corner, pass me the ball. That's -6. And that was a great round. I think my previous best is -2. Real nice conditions today. I think I owe it to throwing mostly mid-ranges. If you can get in trouble with drivers and fairways on this course because the fairways are so thin. So next time I come out here, I'm going to work my fairways and mid-ranges again. That was my goal today. Just put some work in, my backhand, a couple forehands. Not overexert myself, but enjoy the day, my day off. So, love that disc, the Birdie Marvel. Putted real well. Didn't miss many. I missed a few, but kept it close. I was aggressive where I needed to be aggressive, and I was tentative where I felt the need to be tentative. And that's okay. Thank you for subscribing. Like and share. Have a great day. Corn Dog out.